So hi, I'm Alistair. I'm the advocate on the Raising Participation Age Strategy Group, and as my report on the meeting held back in February. So the first item on the agenda was around post-16 provision. There's been a mapping of the current provision, and that's been looking at the split between vocational and academic provision available to young people. And how many people are choosing. Lots of young people going on into level 3 provision, as they describe it, are choosing academic pathways, but there was a real thing around the retention between year 12, year 13, and what that looked like, and learners going from how the provision maps across the city. So in the north there's a lot more academic provision and very limited vocational, whereas in the south there's a lot of provision for young people following vocational pathways. East and Central seem to have more mix. Some of that's down to where the colleges are and the schools, but again I think it's saying that we don't really have a quality of offer across the city for young people. Things like City of Bristol College and St Brendan, some of the largest college providers, were providing more variety, but generally where schools were offering it, their sixth forms were offering vocational training, but only alongside retakes for maths and English, so it was more of a level 2 provision, so they didn't have the opportunity for young people to progress through those levels. There was also talk about the careers information, advice and guidance and the quality of this. The statutory guidance is it should start from year 8, and how consistent it was now across the city, and opportunities for young people therefore to experience the different pathways. And there also we discussed what was valued from the government and how the Michael Gove's discussions had devalued some of the BTEC vocational pathways and had put off parents and young people from maybe following things that were probably best suited to them. There was also discussions around the new A-level being a linear programme with testing all at the end, that if you drop out after 1 year, effectively you leave with nothing, rather than the old AS system. So it's about, if we're trying to keep people in education, how do they stay in it, best stay in it, if actually they've made the wrong choice for them, and how do they change between those pathways. There was talk about a post-16 summer conference that's coming up at Bristol University on the 9th of July. There's going to be a focus on employer engagement, learning and teaching and curriculum reform. There was a discussion around young people who are not in education, training and employment, and there's a report due shortly, but they are now meeting monthly across the city to decide on who should be lead professional for individual young people who are identified as being NEET. There was looking at the capacity with individual teams to take on lead professional roles, and where young people were identified as vulnerable, working with the youth offending team, have a SEN, learning difficulty, looked after children for example, then the lead for that education plan sits with a statutory agency. Next up, there's a Department for Work and Pensions NEET pilot focused on 16, 17-year-olds who are beginning to wobble for one reason or another. Not those who are furthest from education, but maybe where they're targeted at level 3 learners who are most able to re-engage. That work has one person working citywide. She's noticed again mental health issues continue to be raised as a big issue for young people in that cohort. She's based at the station on a Tuesday and at City of Bristol College on a Wednesday, but can take referrals from anyone. There was also talk about a system of identifying young people who are in need. So there's a thing called the RONI coming out to all secondary schools, which is a risk of need indicator, where all young people years 7 to 11 are having their risk of likelihood of being NEET in the future rated, and they're looking for patterns across groups, so that might be ethnicity, looked after children, gender, all divides across the city. I think for the voluntary sector it's an interesting opportunity to get hold of some evidence to help us make applications, so when that information comes out we'll cascade that through VCS, so do look out for it. In the meantime, if you've got any questions, come and see me. I'm Alistair with Youth Moves, and you can find my details on the website. Cheers.